What is crack-a-lackin', pop-a-loppin', and also smoking and joking, Tech Yes citizens, because today we have the used PC parts hunt of the month, and we are up here in Brisbane City, and I have some really good personal news, and that is I got my visa to go to Japan. That is approved, so I'm working out the details now. There's a lot, it's like Fort Knox, Australia. I've got to figure things out on all the logistics side, but speaking of logistics, we've had those graphics card prices come right down this month, and it's caused a bit of a mayhem. At least the new prices are sort of leading to the used prices having to react, and that's exactly what we're doing today. But the first deal we have managed to organize is an RTX 3060 Strix, and they wanted initially 650 Aussie dollary dues, and I'll also put up those US dollary dues for you guys as well, so you get an idea of how much I'm paying for this stuff. But then I put in an offer of 600, they accepted, so we're gonna go pick that up a little bit later. And being a Strix model, of course, it's usually the king ding-a-ling of graphics card models in that particular model. But then we've got the next deal that we're organizing is a motherboard, a B450 gigabyte gaming motherboard. They wanted 50 Aussie dollars for this. I put in an offer of 40, but they've so far just said, yes, it's available. And I'm like, what's your address? I'll come get it. So hopefully they'll get back to me while I'm up in Brisbane. But speaking of being up in Brisbane, we are now just around the corner from Les's place. We are going to go check in on him and see if he has any good deals for Tech Yes citizens.
Sometimes you look in the bottom right hand of your screen and you see this activate Windows please, and you're thinking, well, how can I get this done for as cheap as possible? With today's video sponsor SCD Keys, you can get it done for as little as $15 using that coupon code BFTYC. Links in description below.
So we ended up just finishing up at Les's place, and he had some really interesting products this month where he does have the usual OEM stuff, but I decided I've already got a heap of monitors now and a heap of OEM stuff that I've been picking up from various different places. So I don't really need any more of the OEM stuff, except he had this all-in-one Dell desktop machine, and it had a really nice screen on it. It's touch screen, and it just looks really nice. And so I figured, well, my mum, she could use an upgrade in terms of a nice PC on her desk, because she always complains to me. She's like, look, I want a nice clean PC. She actually doesn't want a gaming PC, believe it or not, because I built her a gaming PC, and she's sort of like, she doesn't really use a graphics card, put it that way. She just uses a PC for solitaire, browsing the web, emails, and just watching Facebook or something like that. So she doesn't need much. And so this thing has a 6th Gen i5 6500, 500 gigabyte SSD, 8 gig of RAM. I just said this thing will be perfect. And we ended up getting that for 300 Aussie dollars, and Les wanted 320. So I knocked him down just 20 bucks. And then he also had a Z170 a gigabyte gaming motherboard. And so this ended up, he ended up initially wanting 80 bucks for it. I offered him 50 and he took that. So that's a nice board. Sometimes I come into i7 6700s for really good prices, but I never have the boards. And so I always know to get, if I come across a Z170 and it's a decent price, to pick it up. Then the last deal he had was this Acer Aspire. He kind of checkmated me into getting this. If I was getting good deals on the other stuff, I had to buy this Acer Aspire. So this had an i7 2600. It looks hideous, and it has 8 gigabytes of RAM and a 1 terabyte hard drive. And he wanted 120 for it. I said, no way. I'll give you $80 for this. And then he came back and said, look, let's meet in the middle. And I said, no, we're gonna meet in the middle more my way. So we did 90 Aussie dollars on this one. So that's 3 items in the kitty so far. But right from here on in, we've got the RTX 3060 Strix lined up. So we're gonna go pick that up. There was also another deal, just got a message then, another deal about the Ryzen 5 2600. They wanted 200, I put down 140. Then they agreed, but they're wanting to meet me at a park, and then they're like canceling that. Oh mate, I won't meet you at the park, I'll meet you here. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this bizarre behavior, just wanting to meet me at all these places? So I'm just gonna give that a miss. Even though the price is decent on the CPU, I'm just gonna give that a miss. really like sort of erratic behaviors, kind of, it screams to me a hose job. So we just picked up the RTX 3060 Strix, and when I got there, they had it in the box. And of course, it's just protocol. I asked them to take it out of the box, show me it all, and it was all there. So sometimes people, I haven't been hosed this way personally, but I have heard stories of people picking up graphics cards and then they get home with the box and they open it up and it's like a GTX 460 and they're like, hey, I was meant to buy a 1080 Ti here. So you don't want to be that person. But in terms of other deals, we're going to head back to the headquarters right now and I'm going to recoup because a lot of these people, like, they message me and it was just weird. I put out so many different feelers on deals, but just people were like, yes, it's available. I'm like, okay, what time? Where's the place? Never got back to me. Or it was just like, hey, do you want to meet us at a playground? Or it's just, yeah, parts hunting, put it this way, parts hunting never gets boring. We're now back at the Tech Yes studio. It is a bit late at night, but I had to flip that PC, the one with the 1080 Ti, which we did recently in a video where I think I overpaid for that, at least when we compare it now to what the market is offering, and that's that money there. So we fixed that mistake, and I believe in the process I made $40. I put it up for $1080 in the end because I just thought 1080 Ti, $1,080, or 1080 Ti, $1,080, and then we ended up getting 1,010. So maybe it's only worth a GT10. That's that money aside. We fixed that mistake though, and that's what it's like. That's what that video was about. Me fixing my mistakes that I had sitting here at the moment, then moving into this new market. And so this is what the new market is offering for me here, at least locally. That is an RTX 3060, 600 Aussie. That's a Strix. And also tomorrow, we've lined up a 3060 Ti for $650. So these cards are cheap and they're not like, I feel in the short term, prices may rise up a little bit, mainly because you're gonna have a massive influx of gamers that have been sitting and waiting for prices to come down. And now that they've substantially come down, they'll just want to get something to game on. So there'll be that initial influx of gamers. Perhaps it'll pick up a little bit in pricing, then it'll come down a little bit later as the crypto miners face the pain. But in the meantime, of course, I can do some good flipping on gaming PCs, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Even though I gotta get ready to go to Japan too. So I also was speaking to my boy for a couple of hours tonight too. So that was a long couple of hours of no deals hunting, but rightfully so. And then we've got this PC from Les. This thing, like, do let me know in the comments. Do you just think this thing it's like one of the most hideous looking PCs I've seen? Like, seriously, a Dell Optiplex, I think, looks better than this PC right here. That's how bad this thing looks. But anyway, when we put a keyboard and monitor and mouse with it, it kind of washes out the picture. So people like, and if you put the price, you know, if you make a really good budget gaming PC and the price is right, then it'll sell. And then the all-in-one, I've already surprised my mom with that. She is absolutely loving it, and I thought she would. And it's just always cool to just, I don't know. And I haven't even checked the price on eBay yet. I'll probably check the price in the morning on what they go for on the market. But seriously, a touch screen as good as that one was, when I tried it, I was impressed with the capacitance, is that the right word? The capacitance of that monitor, and just how well it responded in terms of the touchscreen. And that's what impressed me the most, was how good the monitor was, but also how good the touchscreen worked on it too. So again, wasn't really worried about the specs so much. It had decent specs for Solitaire and Office, but it was so much the functionality on it was extremely impressive. So that was a good little pickup, I think. Do let us know in the comment section below though, what you guys think of that all-in-one. Do you think it was a decent deal or not? Though it is really late at night, I need some Tech Yes sleep in order to get that Tech Yes energy to continue this parts hunt tomorrow. So we just now ended up picking up the 3060 Ti, and I gotta say, GPU prices are finally coming down to normal levels. Normal levels is what I'd call it. And I'm sort of happy that the normal, like, yeah, what if prices become under MSRP? Well, that's when I'm starting to get really excited. So now we're back at the Tech Yeah studio, and we've looked around on Facebook, Gumtree, scoured the market, and there's just really no stranger now. And here we are now with the final score of the evening, and this is a Ryzen 5 1600 AF, and that's the better one than the AE. It's basically a Ryzen 5 2600. And then we've got a 16 gigabytes of 3600 megahertz memory, and also a B450 Aorus Elite, and the cooler as well. So all up, we got this for 250 Aussie dollars. They had the listing up for 300. I put in the offer of 250. They came back at 270, but then I just stuck to 250. And I just said that was my max. And so they accepted. And what we're looking at now is really, if we look at this right here, say for instance, we got this 3060 Strix. And if you guys saw just a video ago, we had that 1080 Ti system. We flipped that and decided, okay, instead of sitting on that and potentially losing more money, we've then just converted what we did there into this right here. Because this PC right here, if I'm putting a gaming PC together, this should cost me just under $1,000 as well. I should be able to put something like this together for a similar price as that PC. And so what we see here is we're gonna have a much more contemporary system, and it's gonna be worth more on the market than the 1080 Ti system and the 4th Gen i7. So this is really what it's about here at Tech Yeah City. Gotta move fast, keep on your toes. But also, you guys probably wondering what the total for the month is, and I'll put the tally up on the screen. This month's deals, we did score a lot of different epic deals this month, though my favorite would have been, I'm gonna be a little bit weird, but I'm gonna say that all-in-one PC is probably like, what, Brian? You got all this other really cool stuff and you're liking the all-in-one PC. And it's probably, yeah, I just haven't used an all-in-one PC for that long. So, but the real reason I was impressed with that was just so much the touch screen and the glossy screen together. It was just absolutely amazing, that touch screen. I think that's what won me over with that deal. But do let us know in the comments what you guys think was the best deal, your favorite deal of this month. But also you may be wondering, what's the go with the used market, Brian? Let's get in the hot seat and talk more about that. And so I think what we're seeing right now is the used market. I think it's a little too early. I got in a little bit too early this month, where we did pick up some deals, but I think if we look at, say, an RTX 3080 and we type that search term in, there's still people sitting there with their used RTX 3080s and whatnot, and the retail prices are now cheaper than those 3080s. But I guess some of those people will get a bit of a shock when they're like, why is my 3080 getting no interest at all? And then they check the retail prices and they're like, whoa, what just happened? And so I'm sort of, when that happens, you'll see prices of all these used components go down, because if I'm looking on eBay as well at the moment, there's pretty much just sales on a lot of different stuff. There's like 12700Ks, there's 12600KFs, 12400Fs, and 10700Fs. All this new stuff is definitely gonna put pressure on the used stuff to go down in price. And so the new market at the moment looks like it's definitely leading the way and fixing the pricing, especially on the used market. And so sometimes it can be the reverse. The used market will fix the pricing on the new market if it goes too out of control and there's lots of used parts going around. But this time around, it looks like it's the opposite. And I think a lot of the deals that I saw up on Facebook Marketplace, there was just some really just crap pricing on a lot of stuff, where I was seeing some i5s and motherboards for $200. And it's like, why would you even want to bother with that kind of stuff? And then this Ryzen deal was actually one of the only few decent deals that I saw in terms of CPUs and motherboards. And of course, the person was happy to make a deal with us. But recently I have been contacted behind the scenes, getting the news for you guys. I'm definitely going to be on the front lines this year, telling you guys what is up. And I'm going to try and take the role of not a journalist. I'm going to be a hustleist. But ultimately, it is just a weird scenario, one that I'm going to be staying positive, trying to ride it through any way I can. So if you guys are enjoying these used parts hunts, if you're just enjoying the content in general as well, be sure to hit that like button for us. Also, let us know in the comment section below what you think of the market right now. I know there's the US market. People are starting to tell me that prices are starting to drop there. So it does look like for some reason Australia was kind of leading the way in these GPU price drops, but hopefully you'll see that trickle around the rest of the world, because I know there's some people in different countries and they're like, GPU prices haven't dropped here yet, and they're getting a bit frustrated, but it looks like that'll fix itself sooner or later. But don't worry, patience is key. It's just like last year when I told one of the viewers, Manny, to sell his Vega 64 for a high price into the crypto market. He would have been having an absolute wonderful time now, where he could have turned that Vega 64 into already a 3070 Ti. So that's kind of like a magic trick that I've never seen before, but that's one that Manny is now comfortable doing, and he's become a magician. There was also, before I get on out of here, we got the question of the day, which comes from Smile Tsu with the Japanese katakana, and they ask, wouldn't it be cheaper to buy the OG cooler for that 1080 Ti instead of a custom one? And this comes from the recent video we did with the 1080 Ti, where we had to flip that ASAP. And that one came with a water block. And so that's why I put the Morpheus on that, because basically with models, especially these custom PCB models of graphics cards, in this case, the custom model PCB 1080 Ti, I believe it's a custom PCB. If it's not, then if it's a reference, you might be able to use a different cooler. But if in this case, I believe it was a custom PCB. So if you try and use another 1080 Ti air cooler from a different model, then it most likely just won't fit, because the 1080 Ti's were so big and so compact with VRM custom cooling that it's just, I've tried it in the past, trust me, it just doesn't work most of the time. Sometimes it can work, rarely, but you've mainly got to match the exact air cooler to that exact PCB. And so in this case, it's a water block, so we're kind of out of luck there. So hopefully that answers that question. And with that aside, if you guys have stayed this far and you're enjoying that Tech Yes content, be sure to sub and smash that bell to get the videos as soon as they drop. And also, if you want some behind the scenes access, where we recently uploaded a video going more into the economics, then for as little as $1 a month, become a Tech Yes behind the scenes member. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out for now. Bye.